then the audience hears all of this. Like, y'all, I missed my cue. So, anywho, we are back on the amazing 102.5 FM, The Lift. And Jamay has joined us today from Career Gear. So, if you missed the first segment of this piece, you will want to go back and listen so that you can learn more about the organization itself. But for a moment, we're going to now turn to the leader herself. And so what you said earlier was that getting this position has caused you to process ending differently and starting differently. Sure. So all things that, like, what is that about? And for any small business owner or nonprofit leader, for yourself as well, you may hear some nuggets for consideration for how you would like to start a new year and end the current one.
Absolutely. So I think I started with Career Gear 10 years ago, and I really just came in as a volunteer. I worked in men's styling, and so I just came in to help dress guys and really just fell in love with the mission after my very first client. Quickly became a board member and then became executive director because the previous executive director left. So kind of thrown into a position that, I felt like I wasn't ready for. I'd never been executive director. I'd run businesses here and there. Had a background in some nonprofit development from Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. But outside of that, I didn't feel prepared at all. But I knew that God had placed all my talents into one mission. So everything that I loved was in this one mission. Wow. And I knew he was going to use all those. Fashion, health, serving, event coordination,
all
catering.
Things.
All things. To your all things point. Literally all things. And so he was really answering a simple prayer that was, when I was on my last job, that if he got me out of there, I would use my gifts to serve him, to edify the body. And then my only request as a single mom with 2 boys was that he made sure we were taken care of. Yes. Right? Yes. Use these gifts to be a source of revenue back into my life. Yes. And so that was 10 years ago. I quickly got baptized into learning how to run a nonprofit, how to ask for funding. Some of what you guys have done has been totally amazing, and I remember those early lessons of connecting with funders, saying thank you. Right? Yes. I those things are invaluable to leaders today, and so I think that this journey has been such a learning curve for me personally, so challenging. I think sometimes people think when you run your own business, oh, well, you work less hours than everybody else does. No, I have sleepless nights. Yes. And I don't know that you think those sleepless nights at some point stop. I think sometimes there's seasons where they're more. And I'm in a season right now of more. I'm in a season of more. The organization is demanding more. The clients are demanding more. The area of service, this niche that we're in, is demanding more. And as a leader, you got to be willing and able to step up and figure out how to do that work-life balance. We teach that. Yes. And that's probably one of the things I struggle with the most is creating that balance of still being mom, now grandmom and wife, and still mom, and everything in that space. And so I think that those pieces continue to just draw and continue to ask for more of you. And I know that God never puts more on us than what we can bear. So I always go back to that like, okay, it's in me to do this. It's in me to get through this. Yes. I have beautiful support systems. The support that the fund has provided has been invaluable. I love that we've focused on those pieces of providing support, not just the funding, but the support and the development, because that is so key to being anywhere. In 10 years in a nonprofit, that's not, you don't hear that. A lot of people burnout. Burnout. Yes. And they jump from one to another. If they're not, the heart's not connected to the mission, and they're looking for dollars and nonprofit, they continue to jump, and it's never about that. It has to be about heart connected to the mission. Yes. Yeah.
And so as you're wrapping up this year and kind of processing all of that and the change, how does that posture or impact what you see for the future?
So one of my biggest things I think right now is just the delegation of things that I used to do.
She said the D word.
Delegation. Yes. Delegation of things that I used to do or I need to stop doing to other people to be able to grow and develop. Who's the next executive of Career Gear? Who's the next executive director? Yes. If I don't start developing that person to replace me, then
the
organization doesn't grow. And even more on that, I'm still always there, right? And it has to grow beyond that person. It has to grow beyond that figurehead. And so that's one of the things right now for me that's really big is figuring out how I train the next group that's coming up behind me to continue the mission forward.
Yes. For anybody who's processing with us, that I guess is what I was really about to say. That's the processing in and of itself. It's the way that you're thinking about the org. For the org to be well, you already know that in the future you need to be working on the next.
Absolutely.
And maybe that's a takeaway or a nugget for somebody today, is like thinking about it, loving something so much that you begin to envision what it could be even without you. Right?
Exactly. And realize that sometimes when you don't allow it to grow outside of yourself, you kill it.
Yes, the very thing that you love.
Yeah, it'll die with you if you don't allow it to grow outside of you.
Yes.
And we all have these little babies, and it's
we hold them.
Yes, but you have to learn how to let it go and to trust others to come in and work alongside you. Pray that God sends you people that have your heart, that have your servant's heart. And if he sends you those people, then you know it's time to continue that growth. And so that's the biggest thing for me personally right now, is just being in that season. Wow. And it's exciting. It's exciting to see that person coming up behind me that I'm like, she'll be the executive director
You
one
can
day.
see it.
Yeah.
Well, I probably met him when I was over there. Let me think through the group.
You
I'm
did,
like, oh,
you
right
did.
there, that's her.
You did.
We're going to go ahead and go to commercial break. And like that, Jamay, it's almost over. Y'all stay tuned. We have one more segment on the lift here at the amazing 102.5 FM. We're going to come back and chat it out a little bit more about all things end of year and all things next year. Y'all stay with us. Thank you, Jamay.
Thank you.